Hello and welcome to the first episode of Let's Play The Binding of Isaac. This is going to be a very weird game to Let's Play because each episode is going to be one dive. I should also make sure it's known before we get too far into here that this game is extremely not work safe. Do not watch these Let's Plays at work or, in fact, anywhere that anyone you know and love may be able to see you watch them. It is weird, it is disturbing, it may give you nightmares, even though it looks extremely cute. For those unaware, The Binding of Isaac is a roguelike game. You're going to have that very cute top-down explore dungeon style. And here comes the story.
Isaac and his mother lived alone in a small house on a hill. Isaac kept to himself, drawing pictures and playing with his toys as his mom watched Christian broadcasts on the television. Life was simple, and they were both happy. That was until the day Isaac's mom heard a voice from above. "Your son has become corrupted by sin. He needs to be saved." "I will do my best to save him, my lord," Isaac's mother replied, rushing into Isaac's room, removing all that was evil from his life. Again the voice called to her. "Isaac's soul is still corrupt. He needs to be cut off from all that is evil in this world and confess his sins." "I will follow your instructions, Lord. I have faith in thee," Isaac's mother replied, as she locked Isaac in his room, away from the evils of the world. One last time, Isaac's mom heard the voice of God calling to her. "You've done as I've asked, but I still question your devotion to me. To prove your faith, I will ask one more thing of you." "Yes, Lord, anything," Isaac's mother begged. "To prove your love and devotion, I require a sacrifice. Your son Isaac will be this sacrifice. Go into his room and end his life as an offering to me to prove you love me above all else." "Yes, Lord," she replied, grabbing a butcher's knife from the kitchen. Isaac, watching through a crack in his door, trembled in fear. Scrambling around his room to find a hiding place, he noticed a trapdoor to the basement hidden under his rug. Without hesitation, he flung open the hatch, just as his mother burst through his door, and threw himself down into the unknown depths below.
Cheery, right? That should give you some idea of what you're going to see as you play this game. For those of you still at work, there is still time to back out. Before we begin, I'd like to show you something. That is, this is me currently. I have died 51 times and have not beat the game once. Furthermore, this should give you some idea of how many times I may have to beat the game still. There are over 110 items that we can find, and I have not even found half of them. Each of them have their own uses. And before I continue, just for those playing at home, when you play with the controls, they're pretty darn easy, and there's a decent amount of options for you. The controls, actually, we'll see in a moment. There are 4 characters you can play as. Only Isaac will be available from the start. One I have yet to unlock, named Judas. Fitting, but we don't know how to unlock him. Cain is an option and is actually usually recommended to new players, apparently. He doesn't start with quite as many hearts as Isaac does, but he is a lot faster, he is stronger, and more importantly, he has the special ability Luckfoot. From what I've gathered, it increases the rate of rare and powerful drops. There's also Magdalene, but I'm not so sure about her. I haven't tried her. She's not as fast or as powerful, but she starts with more hearts. She also starts with the item Yum Heart, which you can eat every once in a while to give you some extra hearts. We're going to play with Cain. First room teaches you how to play. It's pretty simple. No mouse required in this game. ASDW will be your move keys. Up, down, left, and right arrows will let you attack. Easy. Pressing Shift or E will drop a bomb, and space will use whatever item you may have. We're going to explore. This is what you should expect from the Binding of Isaac. As you may have noticed, we just got attacked by children with no eyes. And if you shoot off their heads, their body will continue to run around and shoot blood bullets at you. We are also, yes, breaking shit piles in the corner of the rooms in the hopes of there being items. In the upper left-hand corner, you may notice the map, particularly useful because it will not only tell you where to go, where you've been, rooms you haven't explored yet. It's also notable because it will tell you special things like where a heart has been that you haven't picked up yet, things like that. Speaking of hearts, the one I just picked up, and you'll see it in blue in my upper right, is known as a soul heart, or a spirit heart. It's not permanent. It only lasts until I lose it, more or less. It allows me to temporarily, artificially increase my health. Powerful items. As you'll see on the map in the upper left-hand corner, you can see the heart in the room I left. As long as you're on the floor, items are static. They're not going to disappear. Things are going to remain as you left them. Including, if I remember correctly, the actual pattern of the floors and every so often blood spatters. This is important to note because the game is brutal. It is not nice to you. You are not going to get things done easily. So it's good to know where you can get some help later on. We have found a penny. Pennies are particularly important because they're your currency source, of course. You buy things with them, or you play the slot machines with them, or you give them as charity in hopes of getting something special. Also, Cain, the character I am currently playing, can only be unlocked if you have 50 pennies at any given point in time. Bombs are greatly useful for blowing up rocks, blowing open doors, and blowing up the secret door on any given floor. Gold chests are only unlockable by using a key. Gray chests, as you may have seen earlier, are unlockable no matter what. Now, we have a couple special rooms, and you've seen 2 sets of them so far. And if you look on the mini-map, on the right-hand side, that skull room is the major boss of this floor. Major bosses are randomly selected off a pool of major bosses. There are a number of them, 5 or 6 of them, I believe. You saw them in that loading splash screen. That penny indication over there is the shop. Usable sometimes. This gold door indicates your free upgrade for each individual floor. Every floor has at least 1 free upgrade. You may get more. As you can see, the upgrade I received was the dog's head, which you can see right there. Increases my damage because Isaac cries more. Now on each level, you can find a secret door. I was actually tempted to find it just now. You have to blow up the center wall on one of the rooms in order to find it. You can find it by blowing up the wall on any of the surrounding rooms. I normally find it, if you can see on the map how there is 5 rooms surrounding an empty space, that's usually where I find it, in that empty space. And that little piano indication, and that hole in the wall tell you you found it. Here's a secret room. A number of things can spawn in here. Most common, you're going to find some pennies to use later. You will also find a dead guy, and the dead guy does change every so often. You can also find a slot machine, bombs, a charity child, any number of things. So we're going to go for our first boss, who is Larry Jr. Larry Jr. is one of the easier bosses to face. It's just 2 worms that follow their pre-selected paths. They're generally pretty easy to kill, just keep away from them. One notable thing about Larry Jr. is that they drop piles of shit wherever they go. The reason why this is interesting is that piles of shit are actually a container. They can drop items. And the reason why that's interesting is unlimited containers means that until you kill them, you can get unlimited items. The drop rate is pretty poor, though. It is possible, and almost happened just now, for the Larry Jr. to split into an additional one. I don't know exactly what you have to do for that. I think you have to hit it just the right spot. When you kill the boss, you get an additional drop item. Usually it's health up or power up. In this case, it's the pentagram, which is damage up. And I'd like to point out, before we continue, that every power up I have found so far has done a physical change on the avatar. As you can see, the head of Max made us cry more, and the pentagram has given us demonic horns. The power-ups will also change your tears ever so slightly. Max's head gave us bigger tears, more damage, and the demonic horns have given us blood tears, also more damage. Between each level, you get to see Isaac dream of things that have happened to him, or may not have happened to him. Not quite sure. He has not had a good life. Flies are particularly notable because they are an enemy type that may or may not actually attack you. It depends on if they're flashing red or not. Black flies, which you'll see every so often, will not attack you. The meat-type enemies you see here, their such behavior is that they will shoot in four directions, up, down, left, right. Fairly easy to dodge. Don't forget that fire, if you do happen to put it out like I am now, can also drop items, just as the shit piles can. You'll see in the upper right-hand corner, I haven't used it yet, but we have our tarot card, the Fool. The Fool has a chance of, or it can teleport you when you use it, and can teleport you into any room on the floor. Now we have pills. You can only hold pills or the Fool, or a tarot card, one or the other. Pills are usable. They're one-time only use, just like the Fool, and they have a random effect. They could be good effects. They could also be bad effects. They could also have, like that one, no effect at all. Tarot cards are one-use only, one-time effects. Some power you up, some do very little. Notable about them is they only affect you for the one room. I already have plenty of keys, so we're going to skip that one, because right now bombs are a little bit more important to me. As you can see, we got some more of them. Also notable is the fact that we can't go back up. You can only go down. So whatever I leave on this floor, I can't take with me. The shop to the right, but I have little to no money, so we're just going to ignore it for now and keep exploring. More enemies. As you can see, we got some black flies in here that are not going to attack me. They're just going to fly around. But in order to unlock the doors, you do have to kill the black flies. The two other creatures you see in here not only will run away, they can also explode and send suicide bullets at you. Also notable about them is that when you kill them, they do spawn flies. And you're actually going to notice several levels of those enemies. Something I've been told, but I haven't been able to verify yet, is that the more you beat the game, the harder it gets. I've also been finding that the more you play the game, the harder it gets. You don't even have to beat it. Some of these enemy types I never saw before. Past that first floor, on many floors you'll find that the free bonus room is locked. So keep some keys around. The Doctor's Remote is a one-time use item. Well, it's multiple use, but you have to charge it each time. So you want to make sure these things are kept fairly rarely used. They're really good for bosses. Before we use that, we're going to go into the arcade. As you can see, the arcade contains 3 things. In addition to a slot machine, which I'm going to use in a second, we have the ball boy, and we have the blood transfusion machine. Gives you money for donating blood. Talk to the boy, he'll give you something. You just have to pick the right skull. Something to note about the boy is that whenever you play his game with him, there is a chance that he will give you a very powerful item. The boy is also special because this is not his only form. You can also find him simply sitting out in the dungeon somewhere. When he's sitting out in the dungeon, just wherever he happens to be, if you give him enough items, he can, or enough coins, he can give you some very special, random items. I don't want to waste a bomb on that. You can also blow up the slot machine, but if I can get the money, I'd rather hold on to it. One of the slot machines drops, other than bombs and keys and a few power-up items, is the dollar. It instantly fills you up to 99 pennies. Yes, you get shorted out of the 100th because of the exchange rate. I don't know. The reason why this is important is that if you have not unlocked Cain yet, it's an instant Cain unlock. So we got a new boss to play with here. And as you can see, it's two bosses joined by an umbilical cord. We've already killed one of them. The reason why this boss is a little bit tricky in some instances is that if you get the powered up, especially the powered up versions, once you kill the main brother, the little brother detaches and goes nuts. And while you're killing the main brother, the little brother will keep on just shooting blood tears at you. So you gotta make sure you just keep running around, keep away from them. And if they, if you get a powered up version, if you get the lucky, so-called, drop power up version, they can be a bit of a pain in the ass. Descending 2 levels of the basement puts you in the caves. Things get harder here. These are parts of a boss that we may encounter later on. You must not only split the balls, but when you split them for the final time, they become these little worms. The worms are annoying because if they spot you, they will attack. And they'll just sprint at you and hurt you as hard as they can. Floating eyeball heads are decidedly unfun. They will chase you, and they have hovers. They can go over pits. You just want to leave them alone. The Magician is a pretty good tarot card, all things considered. And before I tell you about that, I'll let you know these flies, you want to stay the hell away from them. Mostly because when they die, they do different effects. The red one, as you can see, suicide bullets. The black ones explode, which actually can take out the entire group, and the green ones, if I remember correctly, explode into sort of a poison gas. Let's get our free drop. The bean. It's one of our multi-use space items. I'm not going to use it. It does basically a gigantic fart all around you. Good for area of effect, but the Doctor's remote is better for taking out bosses, and that's all they use the one of items for anyways. The headless bodies you see, these ones specifically just jump. Consider them to be in the center of a 9-space square. They can jump 2 spaces in any direction. So this means that not only can they jump diagonals, they can jump directly at you. It's not really a square, more like a diamond. The Magician is a one-time use item that allows you to, I believe it's called the Mind's Eye. For one room only, your shots will home in on enemies in the area. It can be powerful. You gotta be careful of that, though. Suicide bomb. That room you see below me is actually rather interesting. That's one of the reasons I'm going back here for the Fool. Basically, you'll get a chest in there, or a very powerful item, but as soon as you pick it up, you will be ambushed by 3 waves of enemies. In this case, 10 bombs. We're gonna cheat, though. We're gonna take it, and then as soon as things spawn, we're gonna get the hell out of here. We don't have to fight them. It's an option. But we can simply run away and take our prize, which is the preferred method, because you don't want to take much damage in this game. You want to take as little as possible. The enemies you just saw, the Meat Boys, are one of the more annoying enemies in the game. For no reason other than the fact that you must kill them several times. When you kill them, they're going to collapse. Several Zelda enemies do the same thing, and they'll get back up. Each time you kill them, it'll be easier to kill them the next time. But if you have multiples of them, some rooms spawn up to 4 or 5, they can just make your life a living hell. These particular worms shoot blood bullets. As you can see, that Meat Boy in the upper left-hand corner is red. It means he's more powerful. In this case, he shoots bigger bigger blood balls. Going over pits can be annoying. An item sold in the shop called the Ladder can help you with it. There are also various tarot cards that'll do the job for you. That black style worm you see over there is an even tougher version of the worm, tougher than red and tougher than green. I have no health because I've been playing badly. So, given that we have... Let's pick up the Magician. Let's see if we can find the secret room of the level. Silver, silver pennies are actually nickels. They give you 5, as you would expect. Also notable is that anytime you go through a, every time you go into a secret room, it'll let you see all the rooms around it, and you actually can blow up walls and just go straight through. The item directly above me is called Kamikaze. It does exactly what you would expect. You use it, and you die. I have no idea what this does. Sure. I'm not sure if that was helpful or not. Unfortunately, this particular shop does not have anything I'm interested in at all. I was hoping we'd have some hearts. Well, with only 1 health, I guess we're just going to have to hope and go face the boss. Luckily, I have the Doctor's Remote, which I have not been able to show you guys yet. Depending on which boss it is, this may be extremely helpful, or it may do nothing at all. Gertie is probably one of the only bosses that this item is extremely powerful on. As you can see, Gertie just sits there in the middle. I will use the remote. You get to direct this target. Lands on Gertie, bringing a missile down on him. And unfortunately, I died. Gertie is annoying because not only does he spawn these little tumors which shoot blood at you, a group of them too, he also shoots blood at you himself. He spawns moths that shoot at you. And then he spawns a lot of flies, so there's a lot of stuff you have to deal with. And then when you die, you get this little page that, well, how he died, what killed him, what items you found, and that's about it. If you hit replay, you will dive directly back into the first level in a new randomly generated level, or you can go back to the main menu. That looks like that's about it for our first dive, folks. I'll see you next time.